traveled the country, and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. The number to call if you want to chat after the break, 585 346 3000. Call in and tell me I'm right or I'm wrong, or whatever. All good. You know, a lot of stuff's been happening recently across the country, New York State too, overseas. Last weekend, I spent 3 days traveling upstate New York, mostly Hudson Valley area, but all about. And I met a lot of people, diners, festivals, different places that I would sit back and chat and talk with New Yorkers. And I heard some tough stories, some family stories, family issues. It reminded me of a story that I'd heard multiple times as I've been crossing the state. And it's a story similar to what I'm gonna tell you now. Some of you listening, if you're listening and been through this, you'll get it completely. Imagine you are a married person with 2 children. And for whatever reason, yours or spouse's fault or both, whatever, your marriage is now ending and you go into family court. And when you go into family court, the other side, your spouse, is hurt, is angry, feels betrayed, and becomes very nasty, horribly nasty. Your spouse strikes out at you, not physically, in this case, that has happened too, but in this case, we're not talking physically, legally, verbally, vitriolic, nasty, and in fact, your spouse lies, openly lies. And not only does your spouse lie, but your spouse also embellishes things that are based upon the truth. You said A, your spouse says that means A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, all the way up. All these things. And now you're angry and you feel defensive. And so now, in defense, you do it. You now lie, embellish, become vitriolic. All those things in defense. And you find some success. So you keep doing it. Your spouse finds some success, but then also feels betrayed even more by what you've done. So now your spouse is even more vitriolic and angry, back and forth. So both of you waste time, money, energy, resources, emotion, trying to get revenge on each other. In fact, most of you have forgotten how it all started. Who pays the price for that? Who pays for that? Your children do. The children pay the price for that. They watch everybody collapse. They become not stable. They become vulnerable. They become afraid. They try to pick sides, go back and forth, because either way they go, there's pain, uncertainty, no stability. Everybody's hurting here. That happens all across New York State. So when I brought up these stories and people tell me these stories, while I was traveling this weekend, I asked people what was important to them. And these are the types of stories that they were concerned about. Family law, vitriol, back and forth, people leaving the state, services that are no longer available in New York State because of budgetary issues and concerns, control by the state when local people are trying to fix the problems because of the budget shortfalls, and now more barriers to making that better or worse. That's what we're talking about. You know what almost no one was talking about? Foreign policy. I talked to average New Yorkers, lots of them, dozens of them, from all across the Hudson Valley. Not one of them said, you know what I care about? The war in Ukraine. Or more recently, the war in Israel. That was maybe fourth on their list of issues. Maybe fourth. People cared about it, but it was never top 3 and often not even top 10. They didn't bring it up at all. As I was talking to somebody for 20 minutes, don't bring it up at all. Like it's not even an issue. Don't care. Some people didn't care at all. Most cared. Wasn't top 3, wasn't top 5, wasn't even top 10. So I would ask you, if you were a local leader, mayor, congressman, governor, what would you be concerned about? Maybe with the top 10 issues, top 5, most New Yorkers? Not Kathy Hochul, not Her Majesty Queen Kathy, first of her name, supporter of the wealthy, destroyer of the middle class, all hail, not her. She's decided that Israel and the war over there is number 1. In fact, she's going to pack up on taxpayer dime and fly over there and tell the Israelis how New York stands behind Israel. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not against her standing for Israel at all. I'm not against anybody standing for Israel. I get it. They were attacked. No worries. She's not the president. She's not the Secretary of State. I understand the Secretary of State going over there. Makes sense. There's a war happening. We're sending troops. I get it. President's going over there. Understood. Makes sense. I'm not fighting it. Why is our governor going over there? Why is the governor of New York talking about foreign policy and going to Israel? If she wants to support Israel, she may. Anybody may if they want to, please. And I hope, regardless of your feelings on Israel, you also care about the people who are going to be dying on both sides of this. I hope you care about those people who are going to be dying. There will be innocent people on both sides dying. I hope you at least care about those innocent people, not those who've created the crimes, obviously. But of those innocent people, I hope you care about them. I do. We should bring that up. While having whatever political side you want to have, not having New York's governor go over there when we are broken here. When we are broken here. But that's where she goes. She takes off. Why? Because she cares so much about Israel? No. She doesn't. She doesn't care about Israel. I don't mean to be mean. I'm not trying to say that she should or shouldn't, but she doesn't. What she's doing is, of course, keeping donors happy and trying to be in a world stage so that she can get some job in the future, maybe Secretary of Defense or whatever she's looking for. I don't know. Or maybe run for office or a VP spot somewhere. I don't know, whatever she's thinking. She's doing these things when she should be here helping us, when she should be here handling our problems. But the problem is she's never done that, which is why the fact that she's gone will affect none of us. Isn't that sad? She could literally stay over there for a month. I'm not joking. But she probably should. Maybe for like a year or two. Anyway, she could go over there easily for a month. None of us would even notice. Why? Because she solves literally 0 problems. She helps us in exactly 0 ways. She assists us not at all. So even if she were to go away and hang out in Israel for a month, good for her. She can shake all the hands of the people she wants to shake. We wouldn't know a thing. We wouldn't know a thing. There is a difference between a local person. And I got to tell you, I met some local people who are trying to do things in New York. And they cared about things. I'm going to tell you some issues they brought up. Things like social services. They brought that up because their constituents care about that. So we should be dealing with that. The access to the DMV. That was something they cared about. They talked about that. We should be working on that. People, as always, talked about family court. Every time I go on a trip, someone brings up family court. Every time. Yep. Are we fixing that? No, not at all. And of course, people leaving. For some reason, I met a bunch of people who their friends had gone to Pennsylvania. That's not always the case. They all go to Jersey, or they go to Florida, Texas, whatever. This weekend, I happened to meet a couple of people, more than most, who had family members or friends who moved to Pennsylvania. That is our problem here in New York State. People packing up and leaving. The best part about my trip is when people saw me, recognized me at the diner, which happened a couple times, recognized me at the fair, happened several times. They said things like, Larry, I'm glad you haven't quit. Larry, I'm glad you're going to try this again. Larry, I'm glad you're still covering the state. And then here's the best part. How do I know what local people are talking about? They tell me. But something else. Something else. The local politicians talk to me too, because they know I'm out there talking to people. They know I'm out there meeting people. That I'm talking about what needs to be talked about. Is our governor? No, she's in Israel. Talking about a foreign war that our president should be dealing with, that our Secretary of State should be dealing with, that our Secretary of Defense should be dealing with. Even our senators. I'll take that. Let the senators, let the Congress people deal with it. Okay, not our governor. Not our governor. This is the part, as we suffer, they do nothing. This is the story I told earlier, happening, and the kids suffer while the adults go and do vitriolic trash someplace else. Am I wrong? You tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, WYSL Rochester, New York, Sharpe Way Radio. Back with your calls and the chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
New from Aaron Moore Infrared Zone Heaters, just right for smaller spaces. Meet the Comfort Buddy, a smaller heater for the guest room, laundry room, or sun porch. And the Comfort Buddy offers the famous Aaron Moore advantages like no exposed hot surfaces, child and pet safety, plus big energy savings from turning down your furnace. Upgrade your Comfort Buddy with an optional air purifier you can use all year. Buy direct and get the lowest web price. Use the promo code WYSL and save even more. Call 800-707-8725 or visit airthenmore.com.
Get your tickets now for a Stars and Stripes celebration, Friday, November 3rd, 6 p.m. at the Rochester Riverside Convention Center. Help celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Veterans Outreach Center and honor the men and women who have served our country with a night of fine dining, dessert, and dancing. Special ticket pricing is available for all veterans. Go to vocroc.org/celebration or call 585-546-1081. 585-546-1081.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes. Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. 585-346-3000. And I was talking about our governor, Her Majesty Queen Kathy, first of her name, destroyer of the middle class, supporter of the wealthy. She is now pandering overseas because she cares so much, I guess. She's doing that now. Meanwhile, her own state continues to burn. Now, here's the worst part about it, is the average New Yorker, if she just goes out and talks to them, as I do, you will find most people in New York State, this is not their top issue. And to be forward, if it was, if every New Yorker was like, look, my life is so awesome and wonderful, I'm doing so great, my family's doing awesome, that my number one issue is something overseas. Okay, then maybe she should do that, right? She has to support the state. If the state was so awesome and everyone only cares about overseas stuff because New York State is the perfect place to be, great. I hope one day we have that problem to where some of the New Yorkers go, no, life is perfect. Let's worry about someone else's stuff. That'd be amazing. We are nowhere near that. Not even close. We'll grab a couple comments if I could. Joe says, I don't know what standing with insert foreign country here means. Joe, what it means is nothing. It's just pandering. It's just spending time, money, and energy on a distraction. And let me go back to my example I brought up in the first segment about the husband and wife, the spouses fighting with each other, being vitriolic. This is similar. I would hope in this fictitious case, Joe, you and I are friends of this marriage or falling apart marriage, right? We're buddies. We care about them. We care about Jane and John. I'm making them up, right? We care about them. I would hope that I wouldn't go to you and go, Joe, I stand with Jane. And then you go, no, Larry, I stand with John. And now we're not friends anymore. And now the kids can't talk to us because the kids stop picking sides and they still suffer. I would hope that if me and you are Jane and John's friends, Joe, everyone's got a J today, it's fine, that we would actually say, how do we make this work? How do we make either repairing the marriage, if that's possible? If it's not, then how do we make the divorce go as smooth as possible? How do we make sure the kids are hurt as little as possible? What can we do to help? I would hope that you and I, Joe, if we care about this group of people, we care about this previous marriage or still marriage, whatever, that we would say, hey, how can we help? What can we do? That would make sense, right? And if we didn't do that, if you did the I'm standing with Joe and I said I'm standing with Jane, what would happen? They would just fight more. Now there's more reinforcements on both sides to fight. Now there's more moral backing. Now there's more spiritual help. Now there's more, maybe even financial help. If I'm writing checks and you writing checks to them to keep them so they keep paying their lawyers to keep fighting each other, and the kids keep being punished, we're not doing a good job, are we? I would ask you, if Kathy Hochul actually cared about Israel or the Middle East, wouldn't she be saying, how can we make peace? How can we find an answer? Larry, it's hard, been trying for years. Yes, agreed. No one said it was easy. If it was easy, it would be done, right? If it was simple, you just do that. It would work. Clearly, it's not. So we just give up and keep killing people? So long till we don't even know why we're killing anymore? We don't even know what was the reason behind it? And I'll give you a crazy story that I've heard many times, experienced many times. Some of you may know that this is probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't know if it's still true, but there was a time when there were many, many Egyptians here in New York City who were either driving cabs, limos, and or who had hot dog stands and food stands. Very common, lots of Egyptians, many of them. Again, I don't know if that's still true. 15 years ago, that was true. A lot. There was a huge chunk of people. And I would get in the cabs, take the cars, eat at the food stands. And I meet them, talk to them because I'm dumb and I talk to people. And I remember talking about the Arab-Israeli War of 73, I think it was. I think that's the right time. And every Egyptian I met said they won that war. Yes. Every Egyptian I met said they won that war. Now, most people I met weren't even born in 73. They weren't born then. Or they were born near that or after. So they didn't experience it. They believe they won it. And if they were cheated, I'm not joking. Now, if you're a student of history, you know the Egyptians did not win that war, right? But they honestly, they weren't like teasing me. And I heard this for like 4, 5, 6 times. So it wasn't like just one guy's trying to troll Larry Sharpe, some business consultant running around Manhattan. No. They believed it. Why does that matter? Because that means they're being told the story and they've forgotten what actually happened. So now, since it's been going on for so long, there are many people fighting this in these wars who don't even really know what the origin of the fight really is. They don't. They know the guy or gal that I know who I care about was hurt or killed by the bad guy. So now I'm prepared to hurt them. They make about Larry, there's history and here's why. Great, but they're still dying. And it's not going to change because you said I stand by someone or because you said, so how do we make this work? I would ask you, who is actually talking about that? Who's actually talking about what will make this so we can stop doing this? So that Israel can have an actual safe border, and the Palestinians cannot be screwed both financially and politically. How can we do that? I'm just going to stand behind somebody, Joe. I'm going to stand with somebody. That's what I'm going to do. Thank you for that. Frank says, Hochul is power drunk. She's more intoxicated with power than Cuomo was. I think you're actually right with that. As bad as Cuomo was, and he was really bad, Frank, and you know that, he was accustomed to power. That makes any sense, right? Dad was powerful. He was AG, right? He was accustomed to having power. Like, that's the thing. He assumed he should have it. Remember, he was a prince, right? So he went from prince to king. So he was fine with that. Not Hochul. You're right. You are absolutely right. Shelley says, Hochul put a hiring freeze on state workers, which has resulted in millions of dollars in overtime. DOCS, OPWD, and mental health. Yeah. This has reduced safety and services to everyone in those agencies. Thank you for bringing that up. I was talking about services, Shelley, because people were telling me exactly that. They were telling me that social services that they count on are now suffering. And the goal, of course, the governor says, well, we'll put a hiring freeze because that'll work, not realizing you have no answer for people who need services. Again, you know me, I'm libertarian. I would rather those answers not be government. I'd rather they be community. But then support the community in doing this then. You can't just, you can't, she's doing it. You shouldn't just end the services. You have to somehow have an environment to where people can still be helped who need help. Good if it's not government. I'm happy about that part. But then where's the community? People are still in trouble. You haven't solved your problem by just cutting the government off. That didn't solve the problem. I now have to have a real answer. Shelly, I'm glad you brought that up because I heard that more than once. That's a problem. So what should the governor do when the people who she says she cares about are suffering the most? I know, I'll fly to Israel because that matters. That's what matters. Joel says, I don't remember what the New York governor's foreign policy was when she ran for office. Yeah, I know. I don't remember it either, Joel. Absolutely. Yes, I don't remember it either. So, oh my God. So Austin says, I have a question on that, Larry. Do the states in the U.S. technically have the authority to talk to foreign nations? For example, China and Iowa, Idaho. I forgot which state it was. Yes, they can talk all they want, 100%, but they are not able to create any type of treaty. A treaty must be signed at the federal level, right? Must be okayed, Senate or Congress. I think the Senate. I actually have forgotten which one. One of them has to ratify the treaty. I should know that by heart, but it's one of the houses has to ratify the treaty, then the president signs it. So yes, they can talk all day long. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a conversation. New York City does it constantly, by the way. New York City has an entire, almost like a foreign department. They send for security purposes, technology purposes. New York City, separate from New York State, has consultants that go overseas. Totally fine. Nothing wrong with conversations. They cannot sign any treaties or trade deals like that. That can't be done. Now, between company to company, they can. That's fine, right? So say I wanted to, as governor, go to a country, bring some business owners in New York State and help facilitate some type of business dealings. Totally fine. I could do that. That I could do, right? But I couldn't sign a New York State agrees to do X, Y, and Z over that. I can't do. I hope that was clear. Hope that was clear. So yes. All righty. Frank goes on to say, Queen Hochul was in Utica Sunday. She contradicted herself as she said that she wanted to dampen migrant shipments to New York. Then she said that she wanted to relocate migrant shipments to upstate communities. Well, that's a normal Sunday for her, isn't it? Pander to the left, pander to the right, pander to the middle, pander to whomever, with no plan for anything. I'm going to pander and say things and have no plan. And this goes right back to what I talked about. Again, as I mentioned, I don't have a problem with migrants. I have a problem with migrants and no plan. If you're going to take them, you got to have a plan or don't take them. We just took them with no plan. No way to vet, no way to figure it out, nothing. Let's just take them. Terrible idea. So how do we fix that? I know. We'll go to Israel. Again, exactly what she should not be doing. Am I wrong here? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. 3000. Larry Sharpe here, WYSL, Rochester, New York, Sharpe Way Radio, back with your calls and more of your chat after the break.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center tonight. Mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little sprinkle. We'll drop into the 40s on Wednesday. Mostly cloudy skies, better chance for at least some partial sunshine. Temps in the upper 50s, low 60s. It'll turn breezy, but noticeably warmer Thursday with sun and clouds. We'll see temperatures into the 60s to near 70. Rain showers come in on Friday, and much cooler weather returns headed into the weekend. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Fall means friends, football, and fun. They're all better with your new ride from Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6484 Route 96 in Victor, where they're featuring a select inventory of Jeep Renegade 4x4s at 15% off. And check this. Lease a 2023 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 SUV convertible at just $289 a month for 42 months. $3,500 down. Must be Conquest or returning lessee. A 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L 4x4 SUV is only $399 a month for 39 months. $3,500 down. Must be returning lessee. A 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Willis 4XE convertible is just $389 a month for 36 months. $2,500 down. All lease deals require first payment, DMV, taxes and fees due at signing. 10,000 miles per year. Other conditions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. Visit the most beautiful new vehicle sales and service dealership in the area. Victor Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Now at 6484 Route 96, just east of Victor.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
This is Bob Lucky, Western New York correspondent for News 1040 AM. From Batavia to Niagara Falls, Buffalo to Jamestown, if it happens in Western New York, you'll hear about it on News 1040.
Visit Genesee Country Village and Museum for a night of Edgar Allan Poe, Thursday, October 26th. Spend an evening enjoying spine-tingling chills as we explore the master of the macabre. Poe aficionado Chris Lynn will take the audience on a journey through creepy, curious, and chilling works. This annual favorite is a great way to get into the spooky spirit. Join us for the fun, if you dare. Sessions at 6:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. Genesee Country Village and Museum in Mumford. Buy tickets online. Visit gcv.org.
Genesee, your path. We make career exploration affordable. Discover all that Genesee has to offer at our academic open house on Saturday, October 28th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Tour our beautiful campus and state-of-the-art facilities, including College Village student housing. Our academic and student services departments will be there to answer all your questions. Register online today at genesee.edu/visit.
Hi, this is attorney Christine Demo Vasquez. For more than 18 years, I've provided quality legal services tailored to the unique needs of each of my clients. I take the time to educate my clients about the law, explain the legal process, listen carefully, answer questions, and keep my clients informed throughout the process.
An attorney who understands the complexities of the family court system. Call attorney Christine Demo Vasquez at 585-427-0675. 585-427-0675.
At AirQuip, it's all about your comfort. Comfort with our company, comfort with our team, and most importantly, comfort in your home. As a trained comfort specialist, we adhere to the highest standards of customer service, training, and industry expertise. With a trained system from AirQuip, you'll get the best products, honest prices, and service that's unparalleled. We are your home comfort specialists. Find out more at airquipheating.com.
AirQuip Heating and Air.
At Isaac, we believe you should always feel comfortable in your home at a price that fits your budget. This fall, get a Lennox furnace installed for no payments and no interest for 6 months, plus rebates up to $1,200. Visit isaacheating.com today.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop specializing in pre-owned firearms and repairs. Get your rifle, shotgun, or pistol serviced and tuned before you take it to the field. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, East Main Street, next to the Bank of Castile.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on WYSL, Rochester, New York. Sharpe Way Radio, 585-346-3000. So happy that you're here with me this afternoon and talking about New York State and the problems that we have here and what our governor should be doing here and not overseas. While we aren't allowing, look, who knows if Biden's good enough to do this? Doesn't look that way. But if anyone's going to do it, it should be him, not her, right? If someone's going to do it. Again, I'm not sure he's any better. But anyway, my point being, either way, if someone's going to fix this, it should not be our governor of New York who should be here. You heard during the break a commercial for an attorney who is trying to help people in what I was talking about, family law. I was not aware when I brought up my point that there was going to be a commercial for an attorney who specializes in family law here. And that popped up. Why? Because that's what we need. We need help in the family law system, in the court system. That's what New Yorkers need. That's what they're worried about. More than other things. That's what the governor should be dealing with, repairing that. The last governor, and it's going to make some of you crazy, who actually cared about trying to fix the family court system was Eliot Spitzer. Yes. Actually, he was one of the reasons why I started thinking about it. When I started looking at it, I went back to, I said, well, someone had to have a plan to fix this thing, right? I can't be the only guy who thought of this. Someone else did. And someone else did. It was Eliot Spitzer, who, of course, left and had other issues. But again, you always know, I try to give people credit where credit's due. And when it comes to Eliot Spitzer, without question, he was one of the people who actually wanted to fix the family court system. He knew it was broken back then. He knew it was broken back then. So even, you can find something good about everybody, even Mr. Spitzer. See that? Oh, good. So let me bring up a couple more comments. There are a lot of you guys popping up here with comments, and I appreciate it. So D says, the hardest working libertarian lives in New York. His name is Larry Sharpe. Thank you. I appreciate that, D. But look, I do this on purpose. If I'm going to sit here and talk the talk, which I do, I have to walk the walk. So if I'm going to sit here and tell you, you got to go do stuff, well, then I got to do stuff. I always say this. I can't point my finger at you until I point it at myself first. And boy, I like pointing my finger at you. So I got to point it at myself a whole lot because I really like pointing it. Roy, he does a quote. And his quote is, we must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. When human lives are endangered, when human dignity is in jeopardy, national borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. Wherever men and women are persecuted because of their race, religion, or political views, that place must, at that moment, become the center of the universe. This is Ellie, I think it's pronounced Weasel. I'm hoping I pronounced the name right. Roy, I think it's a wonderful sentiment. I love the concept. We don't do that. There are lots of people being punished throughout the entire world, and we do not make that the center of the universe. And I think we shouldn't. We can't. In fact, you know who's being persecuted and devastated here in America? Lots of people. Because of other reasons besides race, religion. Political views, yes, but heavily because of their socioeconomic status. That's happening heavily in our country right now. Is that the center of the universe? There will always be tormented and tormentors. We have to decide which ones matter to us. And I'll give you a good example. There was a guy I know who said, Larry, ignoring the world, he was talking about Ukraine at the time. He said, it's like you're walking around the street and you see a guy who's starving. You're going to give him a $5, right? I said, am I? What if I don't have another $5? What if my $5 is for my family? Does it matter then? It is human for us to care about those closer to us than those away from us. It is just human. to say when human lives are endangered, that means a lot of people doing a lot of things. I get the sentiment, I do. But I think we are as a country, maybe not as you, Roy, but as a country, we are super hypocritical. We do not do this at all. We do this when it makes sense for our military industrial complex and ignore it when it doesn't. If we were to actually be this, both inside our own borders and outside, I would buy this. I love the sentiment. Our government does not do this at all. Many of our people do it, right? Many of our people do it. Our government does not. I think this is a wonderful sentiment. I don't think we do it in any way, shape, or form. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I don't see it. So, Sam says, the weaponization of our government against First Amendment protected speech and criminal justice reform is my biggest issue with the economy and taxes at number 2. I assume that's true for most of upstate. A lot of upstate puts both of those in the top 5 for sure. I think there are 2 other parts that pop in there. Education's a big deal, right? Job opportunity also, which kind of goes with the economy. So maybe you're right there, Sam. So yeah, but I think, yes, all of those are in the top 5. I heard people leaving because no job opportunities. I hear that constantly. And education as a big issue, that either the education is too expensive, or they want to homeschool, it's not good education, or they want to get better education someplace else, all those things. So yeah, he then goes on to say, hashtag impeach Hochul. Yes, there we go. Roy corrects me, thank you. It is the Senate, thank you. The president makes treaties with consent by 2/3 the Senate. There we go. I wasn't sure if it was the House or the Senate. Roy has corrected me clearly, thank you. It is the Senate. Someone asked me which one, I forgot which one. The Senate does that. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here. So many of these. I appreciate all of these. I do. Roy goes on to say, Spitzer, living proof that even flawed dads should not be denied access to their kids. I will say this often, and I'll keep saying it. I lost my father when I was 12. And I didn't have him. I didn't have a father during my teenage years. I would have taken a broke dad over no dad any day of the week. 100%. I would have taken a flawed dad over no dad any day of the week. 100%. Looking back even now, how I was raised and how again, many of you who know me know I joined the Marine Corps at 17. And I'm not unhappy I did that. It was a very good thing for me. It helped me tremendously. The problem is I did it, as I look back now, like I didn't know then, obviously. As I look back now, with hindsight, one of the major reasons why I joined was I was searching for positive male role models. I was searching for my father. I was looking for that. And that's why the Marine Corps was good for me. But if I had a father, I might have still joined. My father was in the military, so I might have still joined. But it wouldn't have been for that reason. So yes, I would have taken a flawed and or broke dad over no dad any day of the week, 100%. Yes, absolutely. Stephen says, don't the Israelis have enough problems without Queen Hochul and Slimy Schumer? I know, I feel like now we're punishing Israelis. Aren't they already under attack? Aren't they already getting literally bombed and killed? They don't need our people coming. They got their own problems. They don't need us to be adding problems. That's for sure. They don't need that. I love that. Austin goes, on the neutrality piece, the U.S. government should stay out of foreign affairs, but American citizens can go any way they want and help those people that in need that are struggling with war, strife, etc. This is a tough one, Austin. It's a tough one because what winds up happening is since we take sides, we decide one side is the enemy and one side isn't. And when we do that, we can prosecute American citizens for helping the other side. So if we do that, we have to stay neutral if we do that. And I'll be forward. Our foreign policy before 1917 was that. There were tons of wars in Europe that we didn't get involved in. Only ones we got involved in is ones when they attacked us, right? So 1812, and we lost that war. But that's because the Napoleonic Wars, right? That was it. Then all the other wars of Europe, we didn't do anything. We just watched them. Good luck. Let's trade. We didn't care. I think that's a critical piece that we could do. We could still go back to it, I think. And I think if we actually did go back to a more neutral stance, maybe they'd actually solve some problems. Maybe they'd solve some things. Because here's my biggest worry of all of this. And people get mad at me all the time by saying it, but I just think I'm right. And I think in the long run, I'm going to be shown as being right. I'm not always right, but I am usually right. I say all this stuff publicly, and you know I am usually right. Not always, but usually I am. A year from now, or whatever the time frame is, maybe a year, we won't be talking about this anymore. The Israelis will have done whatever bombing or invasion that they were going to do. They will have done it already. They will not occupy and keep Gaza because people will be mad because we can't do that. So they're going to go back into Israel, create some type of border or whatever they're going to do, redraw some border or whatever they're going to do, and we'll be right back in the exact same situation a year from now. Israel will still not have a safe and secure border, still, as they don't have now, haven't had for 70 years. They still won't have it next year either, which is what they need to get, a secure, safe border. They don't have that, and they will not have it. And the Palestinians will still be screwed, both economically and politically. They've been screwed for decades, and they're still going to be screwed next year. So there'll be some type of back and forth, whatever the case may be, but that's what's going to happen at the end. And that's my biggest worry. Except one big thing will change. More hatred. More and more hatred. People who now can't be friends anymore. They've lost friends because someone said, why didn't you support the Palestinians? Why didn't you support Israel? Or to Joe's point, why didn't you do a I stand with either side that I'm on? If I don't do that, then clearly I can't be your friend anymore. That's what our politics is now. If I don't fly the right flag on my social media, I can't be your friend anymore. Wow. And here's the worst part again. A year from now, there'll be no real change in Israel except a whole lot more dead Israelis for no reason. A whole lot more dead innocent Palestinians for no reason. None. No reason. They're all going to be dead because nothing will change. And then even if they kill a bunch of Hamas people, there'll be a whole bunch more a year from now. Nothing will change. That's the hard part. Except more hatred, more anger, more division. Exactly what the elites want. It just drives me crazy. Am I wrong? Should I pick a side and fly a flag? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Way Radio. WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and more of your chat after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive
All right,
data.
we got Keith.
Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late.
Are you following the first House Speaker vote?
585-999.
Jeffries appears to beat out Jordan 212 to 200.
Smaller spaces. Meet the Comfort Buddy, a smaller heater.
Now, interesting, I'm watching NBC News on the TV here. So McCarthy got 6 votes, Scalise got 7, and then other 7.
Air purifier you can use all year. Buy direct and get the lowest web price. Use the promo code WYSL and save even more. Call 800-707-8725 or visit airthenmore.com.
Get your tickets now for a Stars and Stripes celebration Friday, November 3rd, 6 p.m. at the Rochester Riverside Convention Center. Help celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Veterans Outreach Center and honor the men and women who have served our country with a night of fine dining, dessert, and dancing. Special ticket pricing is available for all veterans. Go to vocroc.org/celebration or call 585-546-1081. 585-546-1081.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Sharpe Way Radio. So happy that you give me a chunk of your afternoon. And I was just talking to my engineer here, and he's letting me know that right now there's no speaker. Jim Jeffries? He did not get the Jim Jordan, sorry. did not get the enough votes. And again, why do I say this? Why do I bring this up? Because everyone's realizing the system's not working. It's not. Right? Why? If you remember, you go back, for those of you who pay attention to the left was fighting to try to make something happen within their own. They collapsed, and you all got in line and behind Nancy Pelosi. How'd that work out for them? And now the Republicans are like, we don't want to do that. We're going to keep fighting. Stuff's not working. We got to fix it. I think people are noticing stuff's not working. It isn't just me. Let me grab a call if I could. I'm going to grab Keith. Keith, how are you?
2 points, please. On all of the Palestinian manifestos, they not only call for the complete destruction of Israel, but the complete eradicating of all of the Jewish people. So they
Another
not
call
only
on
want
hold.
to destroy Israel, they want to push pointedly the Jews into the Mediterranean. You can't make peace with neighbors who want to slit your throat. Any number of times, 20 plus years ago, the Israelis gave Yasser Arafat, that guy, 97% of what he wanted. He was surprised that he would get that much. He still walked away from the peace table. The Israelis have tried again and again. In one simple sentence, there would be peace in the Middle East if the Arabs would simply put down their guns. That's all it would take. Stop fighting. The Israelis have shown more often than they can count that they want to make peace with their Arab neighbors. The Palestinians want none of it. They want Israel, and they want the Jews gone.
So I agree with what you just said. That's how many Palestinians believe and feel. I think a lot of that's true. The leadership is. But I always make a difference, always, in every case. If you know me, Keith, you know I always do. Leadership and people on the ground. The leadership of Hamas and Hezbollah don't even live in those areas. They live in Iran. And they are all millionaires, billionaires, or they live in Qatar or whatever. They live over there. They make tons of money. They drive fancy cars. All they do is they get their money off the local population, who they rally behind them as dictators, saying that the West is trying to kill them and the Jews are trying to kill them. They survive on that vitriol. And who pays for that? The average Palestinian mom and child also pays for that. Note what I said. Innocent Palestinians. There are lots of not innocent Palestinians. So we should be worried about the innocent ones, the ones who are just sitting there stuck because they can't go anywhere, because their leaders, who don't even live there, are living off of their slave labor and their blood and their sweat. That is my point. The people who committed the crimes should pay the price for that. But there are literally millions of people who are there who are just stuck because the leaders don't care about them. Does the average Palestinian actually care whether the Jews are pushed into the sea or not? No, the average Palestinian does not care at all. They just want to live their life. They don't care. Do the leaders who are punishing them and sending them off to war, do they care? They know it's not going to happen. Do you think they thought that attack by Hamas, oh, now we got the Israelis now we won? They didn't think that. This is rhetoric they use so they can stay in power and have a great life under the backs of others. They are horrible people in that regard. So I agree with you. I just think it's not the mom and kid on the floor who believe that. It is the leadership who believes that.
And a legal question for your business acumen. Many of your listeners may not know that Hochul is trying to put all of the gun stores out of business. We had a ruling that came out a week ago today. Lawyers on our side first presented it. It was denied by the very liberal Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor, who has a dictation. She looks after New York State. And then it was presented a second time, and it came out last week that the most conservative justice, Clarence Thomas, followed the lib justice and denied it, the big D word. I've been asking people, I and several others have been asking why the most conservative justice would deny this gun protection and keep the gun stores going. What does Clarence Thomas not see? He's supposed to be very conservative for the Second Amendment. Why did he follow Sotomayor and deny?
I don't know why he did it. My gut tells me he is right now under a lot of scrutiny because of his wife, and he's taking a lot of social pressure. he may have wanted to kind of walk away from this because maybe he wanted to take some heat off of him. That is an assumption I have. I don't have any insight to that one, Keith. I wish I had more insight. That's an assumption I have. Thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate it. So I have one more call.
Yes, we got Roger.
Roger, go ahead.
Hello?
Roger, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. What's going on?
All right. So originally this was about what's Hochul doing over there and so on and so forth, where most New Yorkers care about what's going on, how you're going to solve my personal issues, right?
Yep.
I think you should forward that. You know who else can use that message also?
Who?
Diane. Because
really?
Yes, because here's the thing.
Okay.
Foreign policy is important. I understand that, definitely.
It is.
But if you want to get elected by New Yorkers to replace Gillibrand, okay, most New Yorkers' head is not prioritizing. It's one thing if you're an activist and you're trying to get the word out.
Yep.
But most New Yorkers prioritize what's going on in their personal lives. Every time her campaign calls me, hey, yo, Raj, come down to blah, 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 whatever the case is, they always lead with foreign policy. And that is not a priority for most.
Let me defend Diane in this one if I could. And I'll defend her in one important way. She is running for federal office, right? She's not running it for a state senator. If she was running for state senate, I'm with you 100%. If she's running for governor, with you 100%. Mayor, 100%. City council, 100%. She is running for a federal office. Am I wrong?
No. I understand that. But my point was, she still has to be elected by New Yorkers. And through your own experience, most New Yorkers are not in the space of foreign policy. They are in the space of how are you going to improve my personal life? Most people don't have the bandwidth to be like, what's going on over there? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In another country.
That's a valid point. Usually when I run for office, as I had in the past, I focus heavily local. You know that. I focus heavily local, what's happening, because that's what people care about. But
2 minutes.
I think you're right. She should have a foreign policy because she's running for a federal office. Again, I'm not against Americans going over to Israel. Biden's going over there. Our Secretary of State's going over there. Yes, there could be a war. We should be over there trying to hopefully stop a war. I hope. Hopefully make things better. I hope we're doing that. I'm not 100% sure we are, but I hope we are. I'm just saying, why the hell is the governor going over there? So I get your point. In this case, she should probably be doing twice. She should be looking foreign policy and figuring out how she helps New Yorkers. I think you're right on that one.
Yeah, but like you said, we have issues going on in New York State. These guys gave themselves a $62,000 raise as lawmakers in a matter of 4 years. But didn't attach a minimum wage attached to that to raise wages above the cost of living.
Didn't help us out at all. I completely agree. Roger, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much, my friend. Yes, I think we have a valid issue. If you're running for federal office, you should have absolutely federal policies and issues, but you also got elected locally. That's true. Roger's right. And I think Keith's also right. I think you have a lot of people who are trying to crush Israel. Let's hope for peace to the best of our ability and hope New York can grow too. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.